Chase is one of the most popular credit card issuers in the United States. It has two Sapphire credit cards within its setup, the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Between the two, the Chase Sapphire Reserve is considered the luxury credit card. If you are a frequent traveler and a credit card enthusiast, you would imagine that the Chase Sapphire Reserve is probably the right fit for you. But I believe it is not. It is the Chase Sapphire Preferred that probably fits your lifestyle better. Let's figure out why. As we do with most comparison videos, we'll start with the key differences between these two cards, talk about the personas that are a fit for these credit cards, and then together arrive at the conclusion as to why the Chase Sapphire Preferred is the better card if you're a frequent traveler and a credit card enthusiast. Both the credit cards currently come with an intro offer of 60,000 points after you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of card ownership. So that's not really a differentiator. The Chase Sapphire Preferred comes with a $95 annual fee, and for that fee you get a $50 credit that you get for booking hotels through the Chase Travel Portal. You also get 25% more value when you're using your Chase points to book travel through the Chase Travel Portal. So instead of the 1 cent per point that you would get if you use your points for cashback, you get 1.25 cents per point when you use your points to book through the Chase Travel Portal. Chase is leaning in hard with the DoorDash partnership. And in the case of the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you get DoorDash membership for a year, and you also get $10 every single month to use towards non-restaurant based orders from DoorDash. Now, Chase argues that the DoorDash membership is worth $120, but your mileage is definitely going to vary. If you're not someone who already uses DoorDash membership, this is probably going to be $0 for you. But if you order in something from grocery stores or convenience stores, even though the price of some of these items is going to be higher, you can still extract some value. That brings us to the multipliers. You get 5x back when you book through the Chase Travel Portal, you get 2x back for all travel that includes hotels, and you get 3x back on dining. There are two other things worth mentioning. The 10% anniversary boost that you get with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which means if you have 100,000 points at the end of the year, you get 110,000 points instead. And you get 3x back on online grocery purchases. With that, let's move on to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. This card comes with a $550 annual fee, so that's quite steep. But for that, you get a $300 travel credit that's probably the easiest travel credit to use in the industry. You will start burning down this credit as soon as you use anything that codes as travel, which can include things like Airbnb and car rentals as well. You get 50% more when you redeem your points through the Chase Travel Portal. So instead of the 1 cent per point that you get for cashback, you get 1.5 cent per point when you book through the Chase Travel Portal. And you get $25 every single month broken down into 3 separate credits. Number 1 is a $5 credit towards restaurant orders every single month, and then you get 2 separate $10 credits towards non-restaurant orders through DoorDash. The value of these, similar to the Chase Sapphire Preferred, is going to depend on who you are as a user. The one additional thing I will flag is the Priority Pass Select membership that gets you access not to just Priority Pass lounges, but also Chase Sapphire lounges, which have started popping up in specific locations like New York as well as Austin. In terms of multipliers, you get 10x when you book through the Chase Travel Portal, you get 3x back on travel as opposed to 2x from the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and you get the same 3x back on dining as the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You don't get an anniversary boost like you do with the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and all the other multipliers are weaker than the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, to decipher the persona fitment, we'll look at 4 parameters. Number 1, we'll look at type of travel. Number 2, we'll look at how the user utilizes ultimate reward points. Number 3, we'll look at multipliers. And number 4, we'll look at annual fees. Let's start with point number 1, which is the type of traveler. If you're someone who travels frequently either for work or for personal purposes, and you are somewhat of a credit card enthusiast, we can safely assume that you have at least a few credit cards. And we are seeing that a lot of credit cards in the ecosystem are giving you access to lounges. So you're probably not reliant on the Chase credit card for access to lounges, which is why the Chase Sapphire Preferred might make more sense. If you're looking at the distinction based on the type of traveler, the Chase Sapphire Preferred can appeal to travelers that travel more and people who are credit card enthusiasts. Let's move on to parameter number 2, which is how these users use ultimate reward points. This ties into parameter number 1. Because if you are a credit card enthusiast, you understand how to transfer your points from one credit card ecosystem to travel partners. And since the Chase Sapphire Preferred offers you the same set of travel partners as the Chase Sapphire Reserve, there is no incremental benefit from a point transfer perspective of having the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But if you're someone who doesn't travel that frequently and you're not a credit card enthusiast, you probably want to use your points one of 2 ways. Either get straight cash back, in which case the Chase Sapphire Reserve will give you 1 cent per point, or use the Chase Travel Portal when making that one booking in a year for 1.5 cents per point. That brings us to multipliers. Again, if you're a credit card enthusiast, you like better multipliers. The Chase Sapphire Preferred, in my opinion, is just a little bit better, especially if you're someone who orders in your groceries. And if you're not a credit card enthusiast, the Chase Sapphire Reserve while not the best multiplier credit card out there, offers decent multipliers. That brings us to the last parameter, which is annual fees. If you are a credit card enthusiast and a frequent traveler, chances are you're managing a bunch of credit cards together. And that means varying annual fees and management of those annual fees. And so the Chase Sapphire Preferred makes it easier for you to manage those fees because it's only $95. Whereas the Chase Sapphire Reserve has a steep annual fee of $550. By that, I do not necessarily mean that people who travel infrequently or are not credit card enthusiasts should definitely get the Chase Sapphire Reserve because $550 is a steep annual fee. But what I'm saying is, if you have to get one of the two cards, there is a case to be made more so for an infrequent traveler to get the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And that's why I believe that when choosing between the Chase Sapphire Preferred and the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the opposite of what you may think is true. I'll see you in the next one.